The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation. Hey, what up, though? What's going on? It's your boy E-Buck in the building. And, of course, y'all know what time it is. It's Wednesday. Time to talk some sports, y'all. Gametime Audible. This is your boy E-Buck. And, of course, the man with the master plan, the one and only, the sports guru himself, Hugh Lee, in the building. What up, Hugh?
What's good, E, man? Everything all right?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to get it on in. Let's do this, bro. What you got?
Yes, sir. Been pretty interesting in Detroit with all this heat finally, man. But don't count on it for long, E. You know, we're going to mess around and get a 40.
We're going to enjoy this warm weather while we can. You know it's warm when I actually broke out the white shirt today.
Yeah, man. I wanted to kind of get into baseball. It wasn't too much going on, but it was some stuff that came to my attention that I wanted you to hear about.
There's always something going on in baseball, Hugh. Talk about it. There's always something going on in baseball, Hugh. Talk about it.
Man, it was like a lot of historic stuff going on, man. First and foremost, I want to talk about my man's Christian Yelich, man. He made history. This is his third MLB cycle. Funny thing about it is not only is this his third MLB cycle, he hit for the cycle, but every time he hit for the cycle, man, it was against the Cincinnati Reds, man.
That is kind of crazy when you think about it. With all the other teams in the league, and that dude being one of the better hitters in the league, the fact that, one, he did it 3 times, and some of your best, most famous players ever have never done so at all. And 2, the fact that it's the Reds. It's something about them. But, you know, everybody seems to have that 1 or 2 teams that they hit really good against, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy because he hit the first 2 in the same year in 2018, and he just so happened to hit another one yesterday, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he hit another one against them this year, man. That just seems like you said, man, some players get the best. You get the best out of some players when you play certain teams, man, because we've always known like players like Albert Pujols play well against the Cubs, and it's just like people just have other teams' numbers. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool to hear, man. And they did them all against them too. So yeah, that was intriguing. I thought that.
Well, you know, it's that, but then of course the Reds, they really, really, really suck this year. Okay, they are horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we fighting that boat too, man. I thought we was gonna be a little better. We started off good, and man, it just started to tank from there. It's like how many times we gonna play the A's, man? We played them like 8 times. Like every time I look up, I'm getting tired of seeing us play them, man.
Well, you know, we basically got to play them again tomorrow. But bottom line, the Tigers, they have a very bad problem, and that problem is they're not hitting. And when you consider they spent the bulk of their money on getting some hitters up in here, and outside of Austin Meadows, he hitting, but he ain't using no power with it. And Baez hitting, but he hitting to somebody. And Jonathan Scope, I'm about ready to go ahead and let him go altogether. It's not looking good for us right now. The only good thing is the prospects finally starting to come up, and they all pitching pretty good, actually, Hugh.
Yeah, this prospect's been looking pretty solid, man. I'm just hoping that we could get the hitting to go along with it because, like you said, the pitching's been pretty decent, but we can't put no scores on the board, man. And that's been the biggest issue right now. And it's just funny to me, too, because, like you said, they paid a lot of the money on the hitting, and they just not really doing what they need to do yet. And I'm not just making any excuses for them, but it was cold at the beginning of the season, and it seemed like they was hitting, and I was getting warm, and they not doing anything.
So it ain't been cold, so what's the excuse now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Bottom line is, we looking at the league. We look at the league right now, Hugh. the team with the least amount of home runs, them Tigers, man.
Yeah, that's not looking good too, man. Because like you said, us Cincinnati and like you got your Kansas Cities, all of us are still like some of the worst teams in the league, and I still feel like we're gonna get
Don't
a
forget
high
them
pick too.
Cubs. Don't forget the Cubs. They ain't looking good either.
Man, that's shocking too. You know what surprised me? Who's not looking well right now, Ian? I thought they'd be much better. It always seems like that team just get it together, whether they have big stars or not. The Tampa Bay Rays, man, they haven't been really looking that good this year neither.
Tampa Bay been playing with borrowed money for years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Considering that, remember, for years now they've been doing that half rotation, half. Let's just do a starter for a couple innings. Let's do a spot. You know what I'm saying? That formula
yeah,
works. I think people starting to figure that out now. That's part of why they're not playing quite as good. Not to mention their division
yeah.
is stacked. When you look at them Yankees and Toronto, they got some hit machines over there.
Speaking of too, man, I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to bring up the next topic, man. The red hot Yankees, man. At one point they won 11 in a row, man, and they've been having a Blue Jays number this year, man.
And when did that streak start, Hugh?
It started against us, unfortunately.
Yeah, pretty much that fateful night when we went to the game. Now, granted, they did lose that next day, but for the most part, that's when they really started heating up. And it's been on ever. I mean, bottom line, it's warmer. So I knew once it got warmer, people were gonna do it. Remember that we only had half of spring training, so I think in
Yeah.
the first couple of weeks, everybody needed a minute to adjust. But then you also got to remember they play in Yankee Stadium. That's
Oh yeah.
that's a home run bandbox if you ever seen one. So you put them two together, there you go. But the thing is that I like about the Yankees, finally these big money people they've been paying all these years, they
Oh
finally
yeah.
starting to
Absolutely.
put it together.
Stanton been hitting the ball out the park, man. Aaron Judge, yeah, that whole team been putting it together, like you said, man. The chemistry is well, and the pitching is doing just as good too. Which surprised me because you thought the pitching would be a little sluggish right now, but they've been getting it all together. It seemed like they finally meshing. They having fun. They enjoying themselves, man. That's why I think right now they're on the top of their game, man. The funny thing is, on the NL side, we kind of figured that the Los Angeles Dodgers will still be doing their thing as well, man. They're like 20-9. And we already know, and not trying to be funny, they one of the other teams, man, but they're on the NL side who bought their team, man. But those guys play and they all play collectively. And I'm just really surprised to see Mookie Betts at first have a sluggish start. But he's starting to get it together now too, and that's why their wins been going up, and they've been stockpiling on wins.
I say you definitely got to shout out their manager, Bip Roberts. He is an excellent manager of teams. When you consider that he got all those people and they play multiple positions, and that team is very deep to where if somebody get hurt, you can plug somebody right on in. And for the most part, they keep grinding like did nothing happen. But yeah, he still finds time when everybody is healthy to still get them other players in and get some licks in. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
their
absolutely.
break, they definitely gonna be somewhere near the top, if not at the top by the end of the season. Another team I'm surprised you didn't give more credit is that team in Anaheim, the Angels.
Yeah, yeah, man, you done already took my cover, man. I was trying to, hold them tight knit, man, because I definitely wanted to, start bragging about them, man. First off, big ups to them and their record, man. I kind of figured when you get a healthy Rendon back, and then you got my man's Mr. Slugger himself, the big fish, Mike Trout, and then you
Right
still
on.
have Otani, and then you got him doing both, man. And this is the thing, man. That dude right now, if he don't get injured and keep, if he have a 500 record in pitching and hit at least 25 home runs, man, and get like 80 RBIs, I think he's gonna be the MVP, man, this year
Yet
because
again. Yet
he been playing
again.
so good on both sides, man. The
See, that's
one
the
night he
thing.
was so
He's not hitting as powerfully as he was last year, but he's still hitting better. And
and
he's
he's
pitching
yeah,
much
I think he's
better.
getting better. It's more consistent.
That's a lot more strikeouts this year too, if you notice.
Man, a lot more, man. So yeah, his consistency been helping, and the crazy part about it too, he will make it to the point where, and we're still not satisfied with his hitting really like we should be. Is like the weight is off his shoulders now, man. He got Trout and Rendon back, man. He don't even really have to worry too much about having the pressure on him because all eyes was on him when those guys was out. Now he got those guys back too, and then I'm just hoping that record stand, man, with them, man. 21-11. We got to talk about that historic night too from the rookie Reed Detmer, man. He had a no hitter. And I said, dang, man, he actually threw a no-hitter, a rookie coming in. And we were just talking about their pitching, man, how they got so many pitchers and they wanted to try to mesh and see what they can get out of these guys. Well, man, Reed Detmers, man, probably be one of them keepers. Hopefully this is not a fluke because when you hit a no-no or when you throw a no-no in the MLB, that's special, man. So hopefully they start to do better as far as their pitching as well. And this is the start, man. How did you feel about that? A rookie coming in and doing
it. Isn't that special though, Hugh? Let me do a little research and give y'all a little quick history. Real quick, y'all. First of all, do you know that there are 2 pitchers in the history of Major League Baseball that had 1 win in their career, and that only win was a no-hitter? Did you know that?
No.
The only win they got, these 2 pitchers, you can look it up, was a no-hit. Crazy, right? Also, did you know that, of course, on average, these last 10 seasons, we get at least 5 to 8 no-hitters. So it's become a little bit more common than it has in the past. But that being said, how many pitchers have we actually had, Hugh, that have had multiple no-hitters? Do you know that?
I know your man Justin Verlander had multiple no hitters. I know Max Scherzer.
Take a quick guess.
Huh?
Give me a quick number. Take a quick guess.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna throw it out there and say 4.
Nope. Actually, there's been 36 different pitchers in the history of baseball that have had more than 1 hitter. You name 2 of them. Scherzer and Verlander, they of course are the 2 active people who have had multiple no-hitters. But of course, we already know the all-time leader in no-hitters is the great Nolan Ryan, who had 7. Nobody's touching that ever.
No, that's gonna be like one of them Wilt 100 points records. That's gonna stand.
Exactly. The person that got closest, of course, was Sandy Koufax, who had 4, including a perfect game. But then, of course, Verlander has 3, Scherzer has 2, and it kind of goes from there. On that list of people with multiple no-hitters, probably the most notable person outside of who we named, the great Cy Young.
Oh, yeah.
Who had 3 in his own right. But keep in mind, 507 wins in this day and age sounds crazy. It sounds like some video game stuff, okay? And he had all the wins and still ended up with a career ERA of under 3. Do you know how outlandish that sounds?
It is outlandish.
Especially when you consider he pitched in an age where most teams had 2 or 3 starting pitchers. So pretty much every other day you was pitching. Imagine trying to do that now.
There were more Iron Men back then too, man. Because I remember, man, and I regret it, man. It was a DVD I wanted to get, man. I'm gonna look online to see if I can find it still, man. It was called The Fireman, and it had Raleigh Fingers and all the best guys, man. Who at least
I recall that video. I do recall that.
I'm gonna get that. You forget that, bro.
You might have to do a little research to see if we can track that down. I recall that because
remember that, man. Now them guys will go out there and maybe do 1 inning and be gassed, man. Back in back in the 80s,
you get a team that got a reliever that do multiple innings at the end. Milwaukee with Hader, he usually do multiple innings, and the Tigers been doing that with Soto from time to time. But for the most part, it's usually okay. Here your 4 batters. You get them, you good. If you don't, on to the next dude.
And then I got to get with your boy too, man. I actually need to slap myself for this. I had to sneak this in because it hit me when we were talking about wins and history and records books, man. We got to give credit and give the flowers to our boy, man. Houston Astros coach Dusty Baker, man. To win 2,000 wins in MLB Hey man, that's historic, man, because it's not really too many, and I'm not trying to even put race in there, but black coaches who've accomplished that. And this
Two
guy, man, I'm
reasons,
gonna give
you.
credit he deserves.
Two reasons. One, they usually don't get the opportunity to win 2,000 games, first of all. And second of all, they don't have the skill that Dusty Baker has. I mean, Dusty, he's been doing this thing for a good 30-some years now. The Giants. I think he was with Montreal for a quick minute. He's doing it now with Houston. It's been a couple other teams that's slipping my mind right now, but
He was with the White Sox. Was he with the
right.
White Sox with your boy the Rooster?
Yep, exactly. Like I said, he's been learning this skill for many years now. He's definitely one of the best in the game today, and definitely one of the best to ever do it. So yeah, let's please give that
Absolutely
man
agree.
flowers while he's still here. Absolutely.
And he
But
don't
yeah,
take no crap, dude.
one more quick fact about the whole no hitter thing. Also it's only been 23 no hit, 23 perfect games. Amazingly enough, nobody has done multiple perfect games.
That's a hard one to eat, man. To just perfect game. That's rare. But multiples, yeah,
Right.
man. I would
I think
see
the
a
person
person
that
do
got the
that.
closest was Sandy Koufax because he also is the career leader in one hit games. I think he got like something like 20 something one hit games. Now that's
Man, that's amazing.
that might be even more crazier than just the no hitter fact.
Yeah. That's hard to no hit somebody, man. But then when you say the perfect game no hit, oh man, that's the best thing you can see. Sometimes you get a little upset because you be like, dang man, somebody hit something, But
Right.
as a fan like us, man, we appreciate both ends of the actual the bat and when you playing defense. So yeah, man,
Right.
big ups to him, man, and just really happy that we have a black man who's accomplished something so big in the major leagues.
Right.
And,
Keep in mind, being a Detroit Tiger fan all these years, we done seen our share of no hit games between Jack Morris and Verlander. We done seen us get no hit a few times between Nolan Ryan, that last day of the season. What was that? When that Tampa Bay that no hit us that last day of the season a couple years
yeah,
ago, and we broke the all-time record for strikeouts by a
yeah.
team. Then of course there was the imperfect game. I'll never forget that one.
That was the worst thing they ever did to us, man.
They actually got a resolution out there that they sent to baseball trying to get that change to an actual perfect game. I'm not mad at that because we all
Yeah,
know he did.
played
We
him,
all
man.
know he did.
The dude clearly wasn't safe.
He was out. Even the manager, I mean, even the umpire had to turn around and admit that he messed
He
up.
started crying. He knew he messed up, man. That was
Yeah,
something that shocked me to really find out the dude was in tears and they said he was crying and he felt like he cheated him out of that perfect game, which you did. Which you
right.
did.
Ironically enough, Galarraga, the person that pitched that imperfect game, he's a professor now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. But okay, we
Yeah,
can
that
move on.
is.
What else you got for us, Hugh?
Man, what's crazy? We always talk about the good, but we got to talk about the bad too, man. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on it because we know, man, it's your choice what you want to do with your life. We can't force your hand. But the Chicago White Sox and Cleveland Guardians, I'm just starting to catch on saying that. Their game's been postponed and it might not be going on for no time soon, man. It was an outbreak with the Cleveland players, man, in their organization.
People, we're not going to dwell on this long because when we get in this subject, I sit here and watch the clock go. I'm out of here. There they go again. But yes, COVID is still a thing. It's still out here. There are separate, two separate listings when it comes to MLB and injury list. There's the injury list and the COVID unavailability list. And somebody has been on that list you since opening day, at least one person. So it surprises me not. If you could get access to that list now, I think you'll find that the vast majority of major league teams right now have at least one or two people on that COVID list. Part of why Matt Manning is not able to do his assignment and the minors, in fact, I think is because he contracted COVID. Just to talk about the Tigers, for example, we done had at least three or four people on that COVID. I think Badu was on that list for a minute this year. It's a couple. I want to say It's a couple people on the squad didn't have. Bottom line is it's real, y'all. So yeah, that's gonna affect some games. Just be prepared to deal with that.
And unfortunately, man, the hotter it's getting here, the more crazy it's getting, because our outbreak's starting to grow a little bit more too,
Yeah,
man.
hospitalizations up 10%. Cases here in Michigan alone up 20% in the last 2 weeks. So yep, we just want to deal with it, man.
I want to talk about your boy, the GOAT himself, man, Tom Brady. I was hearing that, he's in the cusp of retirement again. I know they saying it might be in 2 years or so, but he already made a record breaking deal, man, with Fox Sports, man. Yeah, they gonna get that man like a 10-year, $375 million, contract just to do what you said you thought he was gonna do, And you said if he didn't coach, he was gonna be an analyst. Man, how you think your boy, first off, Tony Romo and Troy Aikman feel? I would be feeling salty right now because them dudes broke the bank with theirs, and then now all of a sudden Tom Brady saying, "Yeah, I'm about to retire maybe in a year or two, so just be patient with me." They're like, "All right, man. Once you do, we got you this right here." How does that 10-year, $375 million contract sound just for you to be an analyst?
Okay, so quick facts. Okay, first and foremost, we've been waiting for Tom Brady to retire about 10 years now. For real. So understand this job they have for him at Fox, that job been available. They just been waiting for him to come fill it. First of all, if he would have retired when we first started, what up, though, Prime? What's happening? When we
P.
first thought he was gonna call it quits, it wouldn't have been no Tony Romo because he probably would have had his spot.
Pretty
First,
much.
second of all, them particular individuals, Tony Romo and Troy Aikman, they don't need to be salty. 17 and 20 million a season, that ain't nothing to sneeze at. The great one himself, John Madden, never saw that type of money, and he should have, because he changed the game literally. So much
Absolutely.
so that he's in the game. EA
Yep.
Sports, it's in the game. There is no EA Sports to the degree that it is without John Madden.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be no EA Sports without Madden.
Understand, John Madden is not only the best-selling sports game in the history of video platform, it's one of the best-selling video games, period, ever. So yeah, John should have got way more money than he did. First of all, second of all,
Absolutely.
we talking about the GOAT, man.
Yeah.
The GOAT, the greatest all
And you're
time.
not
I
in.
know a couple of y'all be like, I don't want to hear that. It was Joe Montana. It was Dan Marino, fill in the blank, whoever you want to throw in there.
They need
We
to leave
already
that
know what
crack
it is. In
alone.
this day and age of accomplishment, it's all about who got all them rings. And you know that's Thomas Brady.
Mm-hmm. And the
First,
main thing is,
and then of course, keep in mind, you got to lure that dude with that type of money. Tom Brady ain't got to play of the game. He ain't got to work of the job. Hell, he ain't got to spend his own damn money. Because even with that contract, Giselle still make more than he do. How about that?
that's the go to ball,
275 million, and
man.
all you gotta do is be like, wifey, I got this. And she like, that's nice. Hold on, we got me checking in.
What's
Hey,
up, Big
hey,
Meat?
hey. What was on the YT and saw you guys are up, sending love in your direction. Thanks, Meech. Shout out to the WNBA. You better know it, Atlanta Dream. Today's the home opening game of the new season. I'm so glad you brought that up. Hang on in there, Meech. We're gonna talk a little WNBA. That went on the docket, but you know this game time audible, so we're gonna audible a little bit. But give us a minute to finish the start. Tom Brady, 37.5 million for 10 seasons. You might get Tom Brady on there, and he may suck. Okay, because we don't really know what type of analyst he's going to be per se. But if you ever do this podcast for Let's Go on Sirius XM over there, that dude good at talking about football, y'all. I'm here to tell you. And then, of course, the most important reason you want to bring other people to the game, okay? People that ain't quite avid viewers of football. Football is always trying to grow the product. That being said, Tom Brady ain't a hard dude to look at for the ladies, okay? You turn on your TV, you see Tom Brady there in his nice little suits and whatnot. That's probably gonna make you watch for a few moments. Even if you don't know a damn thing he's saying. That's good for the network. That's good for the
You see
bottom
what
line.
he said?
Hold on, let me see what Brad talking about here. It sucks for the legends, but they truly open the doors of wallets for the future. Very few NBA players made $1 million a year in 1980. Now Westbrook and the Beard are robbing teams for $40 million a season and going higher.
Cross.
And let me put one quick fact out there since we're talking WNBA and salaries. Steph Curry, I believe it is Steph Curry that it was the highest paid player this year in the league, at least one of the top three. What Steph Curry made this year is more than over half of the entire salaries of the WNBA. Let me
That's
fully explain
ridiculous.
that to you. The max contract in the WNBA is somewhere around 250K. Okay, Steph Curry makes that in one game. He makes more than that in one game. And this is
Ridiculous.
not counting playoff games where you get paid extra money for that. So when you take his entire salary of some 40 some odd $1 million, that is more than about 8 of the combined team salary. In other words, every last player on the Dream, such and such, such 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 team. You put all their salaries together, coaches and all, they still don't equal to 1 year of Steph Curry's salary.
That's a shame too, man, because I feel like they need to do better. I was looking at one of the games just recently. I know I ain't really start full throttle, but if I'm not mistaken, it was Phoenix against Liberty. Actually, a pretty good, intense game too, man. And
That was a good game. I saw that one.
I looked and I was like, man, them chicks be balling at a high level, and the season just started, and it seemed like a playoff atmosphere with them, man. And it seemed like they want to do more than to establish and put themselves out there, even though they're great players. But I just feel like they don't get the credit that they deserve. And then financially, too, man, it's a joke. Like you said, man, Stephen Curry in one game make more than most of those women do in a whole season. And I'm not going to say most, I'm going to say all of them because it's true.
That being said, for those of you, I've been constantly preaching about women's sports and WNBA in particular. If you are interested and trying to learn more about the WNBA, let me suggest that you get this wonderful app here. Y'all see that? That is the WNBA app that you can download for free off Google Play or, of course, Apple Store. And that will take you to that website where basically you can look up game stats, you can look up the various players in the league, some of their past stats, where they come from. It gives you highlights from the weekly games, the daily games. Pretty much anything WNBA is on that app. And I must admit, in terms of the like the MLB app or the NBA app, this is probably the best interactive app that I've seen out of any of the major sports. So I definitely suggest you check it out, man, and see what you think about it.
Definitely will. So
And
what
don't
did you
worry,
go?
we may not always get to it here on Gametime Audible, but I promise I will give you a weekly update of WNBA basketball over there on my new show, Big Buck Sports Report, so you guys can get an understanding of who's doing what and what have you. The Dream should be better this year, Meets, by the way, and looking at their roster, but definitely not one of the best teams in the league, but I do hope that they do well, that they at least make the playoffs. But right now, it's some good teams right now in the WNBA. Particularly, I'm very impressed with the Las Vegas Aces at this point, coached by Miss Becky Hammond.
Question E with that app, which one is it? Is it the women's basketball WNBA?
I'll work it out with you later, Hugh. Don't worry about it.
That one had the highest rank, so I jumped on that one just in
Yeah,
case.
we'll get that information to you.
Yeah, man, and it's impressive too what you were saying because I was really surprised when my girl left, man. When she left the Aces, I said, "Oh Lord," and she went to Los Angeles. They were definitely trying to make a powerhouse team, and then if you're saying the Aces are still effective, too, you know what our lids cabbage. Hey, what can you say, man? They put a lot of big investments back into that team, man.
We have completely revamped. New head coach, new players, new man. Absolutely. So yeah, it's in the development stage, Hugh. But I mean, Meach. But yeah, I definitely like the direction that that team is headed in. And of course, you know, you got a very good fan base for WNBA basketball down there in Atlanta. So I definitely wish them the best. Prior to saying, as unfair as the pay discrepancies are, being that TV money is what is fueling these escalated salaries, is it fair to expect the WNBA to compare when you bring ratings among other things into the picture? Well, keep in mind, the only reason why we have a WNBA in the first place is because it's being fueled by the NBA. The NBA is making money over money over money. That's why they can afford to pay people these outlandish salaries. So part of what I'm saying is I think the NBA should subside more of that money to the WNBA. Second of all, the
Most
WNBA is
definitely,
not catering to its core people, which are the women. There
because
should
it's
be a
not
lot
like
more
they don't
women
have it.
advertising in WNBA. I think that will bring more people to these stands, particularly people who are women, because it's a wonderful product, particularly when you got two quality teams playing each other. Hold on. Hey, everyone, what's going on? Miss Nelson checking in. What's going on, G-Mon? Thanks for checking in.
Hey,
We
how
need,
you doing?
we need some gusto. When they fired the players last season for fighting, our best players at that, we need a team atmosphere, not solo style players. And keep in mind, there's so many good players that's about to come out of college. Meach, even if y'all don't have the greatest of season this year, trust me, the wave is coming in. We seeing better and better play overall in women's sports, particularly basketball, over these last few years. As more teams are starting to be formed, more travel leagues and all of that. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And I know there's the old school thinking people like Pride, where WNBA is probably not your favorite Pride. We know that. But that being said, it takes people like us on the small level, people on the bigger level, people like the late great Kobe Bryant to help push the progress of the league. So they
Yeah,
get more of those fans, so people become more familiar. I think that's another thing, by the way, right quick, Hugh. More of the NBA players need to adopt the WNBA. Show up to the game, say, hey, these are my girls. We hang out, they train at my camps, all that other stuff. That will help grow the league as well. What you think, Hugh?
I think that'd be a great idea too, because it was just cool last year with the championship, man, to see a lot of the guys, come out and see the girls play. It was a lot of celebrities that came out, man. I think they need to bulk that up and, like you said, have more NBA players come out, on the off season and kind of, give their support as well. Because when I seen Chance the Rapper and other people in the crowd, I said that's pretty good, man. Definitely in Chicago when it was the championship games. They need to do that a lot more, man. Not only, like you said, NBA put more money into them and advertise them a little more, but then, have more celebs come to the game. Because every time we look at the NBA games, man, you're going to at least see 4, 5, no less than 6, stars in the crowd.
Right. I
Most
mean,
times
for
we don't even
example,
count the former players.
right. They showed the Vegas game the other night. T.O. and people like that was at the game. They showed the L.A. Sparks
Yeah.
games. Some of the same people come to Lakers games. They come to Sparks games too. Hell, my girl Paige Beckers and her homegirl, her bestie Az Fudd was at the Mystic game the other night. So yeah, definitely highlight those people. Prior to saying the powers that be have tried to push soccer down the throats of the USA. Not the same, Pride. And while there is some interest, it never seems to work. How much more money are you supposed to pump into something that isn't really making it before you give up? The thing is, you need to, my personal opinion, Pride, these are the opinions of me, not even you. You need to aggregate to the people that would benefit the most from that league growing. That is the female athlete. Just like Nike has a huge women's division that they tout over there at Nike, they need to come up with a division that advertises for women. That would be helpful. There are major corporations that women are key CEOs and things of. They need to step up and say, hey, I want to see women's sports succeed. Bottom line is we understand this is the white man's world and old money is the money that runs things. But bottom line is in that old money, there's that billionaire's wife. There's that billionaire's girlfriend. There's that billionaire's kid that might actually be it. Imagine if one of the Walmart children or if Elon Musk has a girl and they end up in the WNBA. You think the league won't get pushed up then? Maybe it will. Go ahead, Hugh.
I'm seeing what Meats was saying, and I'm interested in that. He was saying he
Okay.
was hoping that come out to the games this season. He lives in the Atlanta area, and it would be a boost the season. He ought to do that for the G League as well.
Hey,
Yeah, I
me,
think.
he has social media, and he is one of those people in social media that actually checks his social media. Shoot him a DM, invite him to the game, see if he come on through. I think he would myself.
Yeah, he one of the most realest people, man, out there, man. Speaking of, man, since we talked about that and Shaq in general, I didn't put this on our topics, but I wanted to know if you heard about him and like the little beef that him and Rudy Gobert had back and forth just recently.
People always want to get into it with Shaq. I don't know why. Because in real life, if y'all ever got beefed out for real, you don't want them hands. You don't
I
want
think
them.
it was all love and the game, love and war. But what happened was Spice Adams kind of instigated that, the former Chicago Bear, San
Which
Francisco
explains why
49ers.
you became interested in it. You love that damn Spice. But go ahead.
Yeah, that dude, man. He got a podcast with Shaq, and that's what happened.
Right?
And he the one who, was, poking the giant. He said himself, "Yeah, man, I think Rudy Gobert can hold you to 12 points." Shaq was like, "Man, 12 points in 3 minutes." And he was like, "Yeah, man, he's not a scorer, man. He's a shot blocker." He said all he had to do is get him under the rim, show him that ball, and hit him with one of those dunks in his face. And I think at first, when it happened, Rudy took exception to it, and he said something, and he told Shaq, "Hey, man, I would definitely like to play you because I lock you down." And then when the back and forth went on, it was like nothing violent or them being disrespectful. It was a person asked him, "Hey, what was going on with you and Shaq?" And he said, "Man, to be honest with you, man, I'd be a fool to say that I get locked down or Shaq and get the best of me as a defender." He said, "I got pride in myself, and if I don't say I'm the best defender and I can lock you down, well, who will believe it then?" And that's when he said, "It ain't no beef or anything. With Shaq is all love. I respect him, and I would love to play Shaq in his prime. But no, Rudy Gobert, you don't want that. You do not want to play Shaq in his
No,
prime.
no, he did not.
You.
No, he did not. Okay, Meech is saying soccer is placating to our Hispanic, Latinx, and other Americans as they understand that sport. We are catching up to it, but that coin is doing swell, but can always do better. Yeah, soccer is definitely
Yeah.
growing in popularity. Pride, get out in the hood a little bit. I've been riding around checking out the various parks and whatnot. A lot of these new parks that they're building in the city, and shout out to Mayor Duggan for being on his job with that much. They are not only just making basketball rims and little workout gyms and whatnot, they throwing up soccer goals and whatnot. A lot more people playing soccer out here. It's maybe not as advertised as much on network TV, though oftentimes when Fox don't have no other sports to put on, you notice that they put on soccer. They need to put it on now instead of USFL. That's another story. But the long and short of it is the sports growing. It's just not quite to where it is international, Pride. And just like that sport is growing slowly but surely, I think the WNBA can grow too. Remember, when it first came out 26 years ago, they were saying just like that other women's league, that's going to die out in a few years. It's 26 years later, Pride.
Right.
Whoop, there it is.
I want them to do more, like at least add a couple of expansion teams in the future too, man. That'd be pretty cool. That's what I've been looking forward to as of late because they don't really have that many teams. Throw a couple of expansion teams in there, man. I think that'll make
Lord knows, I need Tennessee to have a team for sure. Tennessee is
yeah.
wild for women's basketball. You know that. LSU, a team around there wouldn't hurt either. LOL, I'm tickling myself. I tell you, talking sports has never been my thing. Look at me now. Like I said, Meet, you sell yourself short. You could talk to anybody about anything. You could
Yep.
talk to a Alaskan about some ice cubes, okay? I've seen you do it. Give yourself more credit, sir. Okay,
Big
Pride is saying soccer is the number one sport around the world, but they have been trying since I was a kid with Pele, and I actually went to Cranbrook with the second big push, aka Alexi Lawless, and it didn't work. Well, like I said, I don't think it's worked to the extent that you would want it to, like it does in the rest of the world, because in certain parts of the world, the soccer game on, ain't
They
nothing
shut
else
that.
going on. Turn everything off TV. The soccer game on. I don't think we'll ever get to that point with any of these sports not named Super Bowl. But that being said, it is growing. I mean, think
Touche.
about it. More of these inner city schools have soccer teams now. Okay? I couldn't say that 10 or 15 years ago. Back when I was going to high school, it was very few teams that had any idea what a soccer was in this part of the city. But now at least I could go and in a mile range, there's at least 2 parks I can think of that got soccer goals up right now. It's improved. Give it time, son.
We wasn't too happy, man, when we was in school, man. I was in elementary and they tried to pull that crap on us, man. We thinking if we're gonna have a 5-on-5 basketball games or we were gonna play elimination. I went old school on you. That kind of showed my age. But
Mm-hmm.
they was like, no, we ain't playing no basketball today. And so don't think about it. No elimination. I said, well, we about to play then. Why you got us all gathered up like this? Man, they try to make us play soccer. Worst experience I ever had, because it was like we all had to come in like the half court part of the gym and kick the ball around. And it was like, how you going to have like 1,000 goalies though? Because it was like, man, people lined up on the left side or the right side of the wall. And you had to kick the ball in. They had to hit the wall for you to get points. I felt like it was the worst thing ever, man. I don't care how much of a competitor I am. I've never wanted to play that crap again.
Bottom line is, damn a soccer and a basketball. I want dodgeball to be a league.
Dude,
International
it's a
dodgeball
league.
league, man, that'll be off the chain.
It is a
Especially with some
dodgeball
real,
league.
some
They
big
need to.
supersized people be in the league. Some Shaq-sized dudes throwing the ball at your face. Ooh.
Yeah, they actually have that, man. It's not like real, like it's not advertised. It's not real popular, but they be had. It's like a team that I liked. That was playing too, like the Lumberjacks, and they dressed up like lumberjacks, man. It was pretty interesting to see. I think they need to advertise and blow that up more because that was one of probably the best sports as a child ever.
Okay, Meach is saying it was time and pride. American football dominates, but since Atlanta United FC won the championship, we have been getting into that sport. And yeah, actually, Atlanta is definitely one of the hotbeds for soccer down there. If you ever seen them play in Atlanta, that boy off the chain like over there in Argentina or Brazil. I promise you.
Like pride clapping back at you, E.
Hold on. And pride never say your opinion is crap. We very much value your opinion here at the network, sir. Please know that. You are always entitled to say what's on your mind, sir. That being said, I will end my crap with saying I want both soccer and women's basketball to do well. But if the ratings and TV money isn't there, it can only do so much, in my opinion. And that is true, sir. But you
Agree.
have to recognize its growth, Pride. You are of a particular age as me and everybody named Meech and such in the room right now. 20 years ago, we ain't having this discussion about women's basketball. You can probably name 2 people that play women's basketball back then. Not only are there more people up front in the camera, it's people that basically, like this young lady, that most of the world will at least recognize if you put their picture up. I want people to recognize this picture because I want her free. Free Brittany Griner. I'm tired of coming on every week and saying that. So let me go ghetto girl with it. Y'all need to free Brittany Griner. You got other people out of Russia. Get her out too. Boo boo. Go ahead, Hugh.
Man, it's a shame, man. It lasted this long. I don't care about y'all shirts supporting or saying free her. I know that's cool with the unity with the actual WNBA, and I know we're gonna see it a lot. I'm hoping that it'll get to the point where we see it next year in college. They need to get that woman out, man. They just trying to hold her hostage, and it's like the woman didn't do
I
anything
don't care how
wrong,
they
man.
do it. Trade them for one of their evil people that we got. Pay them Putin some money to his bank account. Let him get one of them sanctions off the board for a week. However y'all work that out, get Brittany the hell back home. Quit playing. Brittany is a POW. She is a political pawn right now. Russia is
Yep.
you absolute. Say that, Meech. Say that ish. All of that. And
The
I'm
Godfather.
sick of it. Beyond the fact that Brady, one of my favorite WNBA players on my favorite WNBA team, she just don't deserve to be there for that that charge. For weed,
Man,
oil,
it's definitely to the point where it's
oil at that when you know she smoked.
yeah, it's
Probably
a
had a
lap.
whole team over there in her room smoking with her. Come on, man. All right,
You
let's move
know,
on. I know we didn't kind of went off the tracks with it all. I didn't mean to throw you off. Go ahead, Hugh.
definitely give our flowers to this one man who was a Detroit Piston for so long and what he done in the community, man. Just ambassador of the sports, one of the original big men in the NBA. Bob Lanier, man. I hope you got a video or something to show
You
about
know
him.
I do. You must
Yeah,
have knew I was
he
gonna
was
go
a
there,
big
kid.
man for the sport, and he definitely had to be recognized, and he definitely deserved his flowers.
Absolutely. So say less, brothers. Let me just show y'all this, and we're gonna have a
Okay.
little discussion about this man right here. Hold on. Right here. Here we go.
Naismith Hall of Famer Bob Lanier played center for the Detroit Pistons and Milwaukee Bucks within an era that bridged immortal big men. Wilt Chamberlain to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Willis Reed to Moses Malone. Lanier was an all-star among all-stars.
The big guy heads to the hoop, off glass and Lanier to Bob Lanier. How do you stop that? Away.
A deft left-handed hook backed with the brute strength of a Buffalo winter.
The big guy is only great.
As a young man in that upstate New York town, he eventually earned a scholarship to nearby St. Bonaventure University and transformed the Bonnies into the smallest school to ever advance to an NCAA Final Four. He ascended to the #1 overall draft pick of the Detroit Pistons in 1970, fresh off the first of several knee injuries that limited his mobility and left him playing in pain for much of his 14-year NBA career. Beyond the court, Lanier's life forever stood on the side of progress and principle, beginning with his joining of Abdul-Jabbar, Elvin Hayes, and Spencer Haywood in declining invitations to play for Team USA in the 1968 Mexico City Olympics, a protest born of the treatment of Black Americans stateside. He was voted the president of the National Basketball Players Association and played an immense role in the union's advances in collective bargaining. And for decades, Lanier worked alongside Commissioners David Stern and Adam Silver on important NBA initiatives like Stay in School and Read to Achieve. He was the ambassador of ambassadors for the NBA, traveling hundreds of thousands of miles around the world to share in his love of education and basketball.
Deciding to stay in school is one of the most important things you will ever do in your life.
His are literally the biggest shoes to fill. Those size 19s made famous in appearances everywhere, from his MVP performance in the 1974 All-Star Game to a beer commercial to the ticket window at the entrance of the old Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield. Bob Lanier was 73 years old, a giant in life, a giant for the ages.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said Lanier was among the most talented centers in league history and added that his accomplishments went far beyond what he did on the court. Bob Lanier was 73 years old.
And there you have it, a tribute to the great Bob Lanier. Now, if you allow me, Hugh, I want to tell you a couple quick stories. Some things that you didn't even know. Understand that Bob Lanier was the #1 pick of the Detroit Pistons and played here for most of his career. But unlike a lot of today's athletes who basically come to a team, they make their money and they go about their business, Bob Lanier was here. At one point, they were considering Bob Lanier for running for mayor against Coleman Young. That's how highly they thought of Bob Lanier. With that being said, Bob Lanier was also one of the coolest people you could have ever met, okay? I never met Bob Lanier personally, but my father did. In fact, my father met him at work. For whatever reason, he was coming at the plant that day, and my father met him, and they sat down and they had a beat. And basically, Bob was like, "Yeah, I like this place, blah 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 blah." And he talked to him like he was this basic dude. Hey, and my father came home talking about that to my mom that day, and I remember that very specifically as a young kid that they had that discussion. But the thing I like most about Bob Lanier was the fact that he cared about people, not just people in his own NBA, but people in general. A lot of these players and teams today, they do little drives and stuff for turkey drives, things like that. Bob Lanier was doing those types of things back in his day, looking out for certain organizations, coming to talk to the kids in the elementary and middle and the high schools, basically giving people money out his pocket. Remember, Bob Lanier, one of the things he's most famous for was his size 22 shoes. When he first got here to play for the Pistons, he went to get shoes, and the place that he got it from, they got him the wrong size. So basically, he played that first season, at least half of it, with the wrong size shoe. People would tell him stories about certain athletes that needed shoes, and he helped them to find bigger shoes. Basically, he was one of the people that helped this one person. I believe they're based in Atlanta. In fact, to establish one of his shops for people with bigger feet. If I remember right, Shaq actually went to that shop and bought this one kid down there several pairs of shoes, and that's where Shaq gets his shoes from. But Bob Lanier is the person that kind of established things like that. And what I need people to understand is he is definitely one of the better players ever to play the game. Rudy Gobert could not check him either. But that being said, we did not give his flowers while he was here. And I just want to do that now for Bob Lanier. He was not only a great NBA player, but he was a greater human being, and I need people to know that. Go ahead.
Yeah, that man was an ambassador, man, just to the league. And like they said, what he's done to help with the CBA and to help with the Players Union, that's good, man, because not only was he a player, but then he knew what they went through. So he definitely had to help them persevere. And he's one of the reasons they get a lot of this max contract money, man.
Right. He was one of the people that helped establish that, but he also was one of the people that suggested that they had the bird rule, as it's called, where you grandfather in certain people to where that way, when you do the Supermax, you get more money if you stay with the team that drafted you, as opposed to the team you're getting traded to. That he was influential in that.
That's really good to know, man, because it's just all the things that he's did, like you said, from going to school, talking to the kids, the high schools, and he was just a really good person, man. For what I've seen and what I've heard about him, I heard so much, definitely coming from the Detroit area. And it's just definitely highly appreciated to hear that, man. When I found out he passed away, I said, man, that's kind of a big blow to the world in general, not just, Detroit, but everywhere he went, man. He made such an impact on the NBA and all the other, just the communities, man.
Right. I mean, if you go look up that video I just showed you, it's already got millions of views from around the world because he was internationally known.
I guarantee you when that Golden State game come on tonight, man, they're going to have probably moment of silence. They're going to have a halftime tribute. I know they're doing it right now, possibly too, as well. Speaking of, let me get into that. I definitely didn't want to shorthand us on that. That's my bad for taking so long the Bucks and the Celtics it's in the end of the third quarter, and it's kind of close. But the Celtics seem like they running away with it a tad bit. It's 77-86 right now. And it's been a really well-fought series. Surprising to me, too, is Robert Williams been out injured, and he hasn't played the last game in this game, man, and they still giving it pretty good, run and an effort. The funny thing was, I don't know what my man Giannis said to Al Horford, But Al Horford, man, got his college legs back after whatever he said to him. And it was just really impressive to see the big man step up and do what he did the last game. But in general, it was some pretty good games, and there was a lot of stuff I wasn't too happy with too, E. And I'm gonna get into that right now, man. I just want to ask your opinion first before we even discuss and talk about it.
Okay, well, hold on. Before you go there, Hugh, let me touch on that Boston Milwaukee Al Horford situation. Okay. Man, Al Horford, remember this time last year, playing for Oklahoma City, they wasn't in no playoffs. He was considering retirement. You remember when Boston re-signed him, it's basically to a 1 or 2 year deal. He was thinking he was going to play the string out and call it a career. The fact that he is here and he's actually been an integral part of that team throughout the season. Remember, it was said that Marcus Smart was the person that called for them to have the players only meeting that led to them having the best record in the second half of the season. But they said the person that led the meeting was Al Horford. Because, he's basically been, for the most part, a quiet leader. I think what happened that game was Giannis basically got a little too wild on him. Dunked on him, talked this ish. Al a man. Al Horford is a grown-ass man. He took exception to that. And that turned on that light in his head. And suddenly, he went with all his agility and all the things he had left in the tank, and he went to work, okay? That was probably the best second half that anybody has played all playoffs, what Al Horford did in the second half of that game. And then, of course, when he dunked on him and flexed on him and that is not Al Horford, people. You rarely see him react like that. So when he was at that level, I got up out my bed like, yeah, Al, yeah, show him what's up. You're grown out here. I loved it. But yeah, go ahead.
What's great is the fact that, like you said, with Al Horford, it was just a good effort too, man, because I really felt like, man, one thing I want to talk to you about too, we're going to get on that right now. It's just the bad. It's been so many bad calls right now, and I'm just sick of. I've been kind of pushing away from the NBA, man. And I love the sport, but the first thing I said when I seen some of the games this weekend, Lord, I can't wait for the football season to come back because it's starting to get out of hand. Like, for instance, how did you feel about when Ja Morant said that Golden State Warriors broke the code when they were reaching for the ball? And, I think Jordan Poole made a mistake and grabbed his leg. And I think they said he hyperextended his knee and he's out now.
Forgive me, audience, but I got to go there. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Okay, look. First of all, the only reason we talking about the code was because it was brought up from the game before. Y'all saw that foul that they did on my man G. That was a dirty foul. Again, I agree with all the talking heads that said Brooks is not a dirty player, but that definitely was a dirty foul.
And like it's to the game too.
There was malice intent in everything he did on that play. Okay. We of course gotta talk about the play where give me a second. Draymond Green got hurt with the elbow. Again, that was a hard play, but that was not a dirty play. That basically was incidental contact that went too far. Okay. Those two things happened prior to this incident. Now, damn all the talking, I got the receipts, okay? Everybody pay very close attention to the following video.
Guys, am I missing something when I look at the replay of this?
No.
When I look at it and I'm like, really? That's going to cause a knee injury that's going to make you miss a game? You guys are the players. Tell me.
Did y'all see that? Did you see that? Hold on. They're about to slow it down. Pay very close attention to what you're seeing.
Guys, am I missing something when I look at the replay of this? No. When I look at it and I'm like, really? That's going to cause a knee injury that's going to make you miss a game? You guys are the players. Tell me.
Well, not only that, this is nothing. MCL, LCL, kneecap, like what? Maybe.
Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you what I saw. Y'all tell me what you think. I saw three players going for the ball. Y'all saw how wide John Morant's legs were spread out while he was trying to get to that ball. Then you saw in real time and then in slow motion how Poole was basically trying to steer him away from the ball. It had nothing to do with his knee. Jordan Poole and John Morant damn near the same size, okay? Literally and figuratively. Please explain to me how a man your same size is strong enough to basically pull your knee to the point to where it is injured. Come on now. You see how quick that happened in real time? That man wasn't trying to injure John Morant's knee. He was trying to get the play so that they could get the ball. I do not appreciate that doing my man Poole dirty like this, okay? He was not trying to hurt him. And anybody that's putting that out there like, yeah, the Warriors, they playing dirty because they got played dirty, bullshit. Your thoughts?
You know, I hate the new NBA. E. I always talk to you about that.
Hold on, let me see what Brian's talking about.
Yeah.
Go back to Draymond breaking the code. While Dre's elbow looked to be a basketball play and a clean but hard one, the part where he pulled old boy out the air by his jersey was dirty. And since this series has been chippy and full of payback and sneak hard dirty fouls, yeah, I can see where you go there with that. But that being said, even that play, did Draymond foul him? Yes. Was that a flagrant 2? In my opinion, no. Yes, he did grab him, but as he was grabbing him out the air, he was also holding him to brace him so he would not fall. That's what I saw. That's what most of the talking heads agree they saw. So I don't even think he should have got a flagrant 2. Flagrant 1 for that. But yeah, supposedly that's led to everything else that happened. But all that being said is John Morant overextended his legs. That's what has caused the bruise. Not to mention the fact that that dude been hurt. If you go watch that game, he was kind of uncomfortable a few minutes prior to that play. If you notice.
And he's saying they come out.
You should go back, like I said, if you got YouTube TV, go on back and watch that game. See what I'm talking about. Plus, Draymond looks like a 7-year-old kid jumping up and down, waving at the fans, and dapping his players up before leaving the court after his ejection. Yet he was crying that the fans were cheering when he left the game bleeding. Yeah, it was contradictory. I mean, Draymond of all people, but yeah, Draymond is part of what we're talking about, Hugh. They're making the NBA very bad to watch for people that are not true fans. Because every play now, mother, I ain't foul him. You son of another. Come on, anytime. Must we go through that every other foul? Really?
It's so watered down now, man, that I just got tired, man. And I made a rant about it just recently. And I know Pride heard it and he laughed and thought it was funny, but it's actually the truth, man. And we even talked about that.
Hold on, it's your show. I want you to go there. We're about to give you the screen. Just let people know how you really feel about this, dog. Go.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, I just feel like the NBA so soft, man. It's just pride, man, for you guys to, interacting, man, with the, spirit of the game. Man, definitely been helping me, and I've been interacting and trying to do more interactions with people. But definitely thank you for being constant. But the game that disgusted me the most, and that was the game we talked about, was the game with the Phoenix series, man. It was so bad and out of hand. I think the Luke was flopping. Luke has been flopping, and this has been bad calls on both ends. Sometimes, you might catch Chris Paul with some flops here and there, man. He's an artist at it, too. But what I didn't like was the fact that when they were in Dallas and it was 2-1 and they went back to Dallas, how they played Chris Paul in the series, man, because clearly a lot of those wasn't even fouls, man. The one when what's my man Jalen Brunson grabbed a rebound and he was falling and Chris Paul was trying to get out the way, and they called that a foul. I think that was the foul that made him go out the game. That was his last final foul. It's like, come on, NBA, y'all don't have to be obvious, man. We already feel like when y'all scammed our Detroit Pistons at the time, and I thought at one point my man Rasheed was paranoid when he said the refs was out to get him. Then we found out that they set up the series to where the Pistons lost, and they didn't go on to play the San Antonio Spurs. But then we turn around and we see some crap like just happened recently on Mother's Day of all days. And that's when most people were probably chilling. If they wasn't out with their mom and having a beautiful dinner, they was watching the NBA and they were at home. That game disgusted me to the point where I've barely been watching lately. I just been watching highlights, and if you win, good. If you lose, that's good too. But the series kind of got out of hand, and that's why I think Devin Booker and Luka hasn't been getting along. But Dallas is basically on borrowed time anyway. But just to see a lot of the flopping in the black and a lot of the bad calls, and it seems like wherever you're at too, like Dallas, they was like really giving a lot of bad calls, and you ain't really see a lot of it in Phoenix, but it was somewhat. But it just make the NBA to what we think, man. It's just watered down, and the play has been unsatisfactory, and it takes the purity out of the game.
And see, and for those of you who are true fans of basketball, I think that's why I think if you sit down and watch WNBA, you'll appreciate basketball a little more, because you don't see a lot of that you see in the NBA with the flopping and the crying about the calls, the everybody got to shoot a three every time we come down the court. That type of stuff is making the NBA really bad to watch at times. But that being said, it's been a good playoff series in terms of some of them, but other ones are just like, here we go. And like you said, it is hard to sit there and watch a whole game, because you get to those laws in the games where every other thing get called, and now we just spend half an hour going back and forth to the free throw line, back and forth to the damn monitor to see if it's a flagrant or a 1 or a 2. That is making the game hard to deal with. It's making it hard to consume, particularly when you remember a lot of these games in the West start for us in the East Coast at 10, 11 o'clock. We got to go to work in the morning. We ain't got time for all this foolishness. So I'm just like you. I sit there and thank God for YouTube TV, where they had that option where you could just catch up with key plays. You know that one?
Yes.
And that's how I watch the game. And then they also have on the YouTube itself where you can watch the condensed version of the game without all the rigmarole. So basically, you watch that. It takes out all the discussion about the tic-tac fouls and whatnot. It basically says, okay, he scored, they scored, he scored. That part. Bottom line is, at times the NBA is fantastic. At other times the NBA is pure garbage. Okay?
Because I don't mind like chippy play or they being extra aggressive.
Right. I need to be more consistent, Hugh, particularly in the playoffs. What's a foul in the regular season should not count as a foul in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Step the game up. Half them fouls that Chris Paul got the other night, they weren't fouls. They weren't even fouls in the regular season. At all. He had a right to do that. And of course, you ain't trying to watch no playoff game, and then the fourth quarter come and Giannis or Luka or Chris Paul and set out because they in foul trouble. That ain't good for the league. Ain't nobody trying to see that.
Not at all. And some of them games, like y'all was saying, because at first I was like, I feel like Luke and them could probably make it interesting to get 2 games out of it. But now I can't even give them that much props, man. That game was called so bad, and they would have to make 23s to even win that game. The boys on borrowed time, man, and just didn't really respect that game. And I feel like it was disrespectful to CP3, man. Like, how can y'all do him like that? Even though they're in Dallas, so I feel like a lot of the dirty calls went against them. But just to see that on TV, man, it was a joke to me. And I was like, I didn't see where none of the fouls were coming from. But they definitely won that game because of the poor officiating, man. And I think, to be honest with you, the officials should get fined when they call bogus calls like that. The NBA need to go back over, look at that game, see how bad those foul calls and stuff was, and they need to go ahead and do something about it.
Okay, let me read this and then I'm going to address what you said. I totally agree with you. I too have purposely missed games to watch movies, take a nap, play 2K. Particularly that same Mavs and Suns game was disgusting. Yet they seem to be letting the Celtics play real old school defense, and some of those games were refreshing. Agreed. And don't get me started about the horrible and excessive three-point shooting. The quote from critic, it stinks. Well said, Pride. Well said. Like I said, the every other play, let's jack it up. And it ain't even that they taking the threes. It's the quality of the threes. Everybody in the NBA is not Steph Curry, okay? Y'all, I ain't got. I walk in the gym and that's my range, okay? Basically, in terms of those 3 people, it's 3 people in the league right now I think got that type of range for real. And 2 of them play for the Warriors. Steph, Clay, and Trae Young. Anybody else, stop shooting from the parking lot. That ain't you. That ain't in your range.
Don't forget about your boy Dame Dollar.
Oh yeah, let me throw Dame Dollar. I stand correct. Dame got that type of range too. My bad. If he been hurt so much, Dan forgot he was playing. But yeah, those 4 people outside of that, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, because it's
wait. Let me throw Caitlin Clark in there too. She got some damn good range her own self.
Man, dude, we ought to slap ourselves for not even giving her the credit when her credit's due. But yeah, man, just been really ridiculous, man. I've been sick of them threes. And when I put that post on Facebook, people thought it was a joke, but I was really pissed. Like, damn, I can't even enjoy this game because there's so many bogus calls and all the flopping, man. It just didn't really make no sense.
And yeah, to answer your question,
they was giving them the call.
Come on, no, it's supposed to be finding people for excessive flopping, but that ain't been happening. Not for
that's what I was about to ask, man. How come they stop that?
One of the things I've noticed is particularly with the overall rules, there is no such thing as carrying anymore. Okay, the way they dribble down the NBA, you pretty much just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how many travel calls we see every game now that they just don't call at all. Some of them Euro steps be Euro triple steps. You let all that slide, but then fouled him. Come on, man. All right, practicing. Even Trae Young, if you look at his 3-point overall, he should be benched for taking those logo shots. I hate it. Well, he make more of them than most people do. I done seen people go like 0 for 9, 0 for 11. Don't even be close to making them, okay? At least more times than not, here's a hit the ring.
The Euro step is probably one of the worst things that came to the NBA, man. And I think, I'm going to just say this. I don't care if anybody's a fan or not. Damn you, Ginobili, because when Manu Ginobili came in the league, that crap, they tried to make it seem like it was the refreshing and the best thing since sliced bread, but that possibly the worst thing that could have happened to them.
And like I said, no disrespect to Ginobili, but he wasn't the person that really brought that to the league. Drazen Petrovic, okay? Drazen Petrovic was the original Euro stepper. Let us not forget that. And then, of course, throw in your man that Tony Kukoc. Tony Kukoc was known for the Euro step too back in the day.
But I did like Vinny Del Negro, though, all due respect.
My man Del Negro. That's back when the NBA was real. Like I said, I know we sound like 2 old men talking about get off my lawn. But everything being everything, people, this new NBA, sometimes it just
that
was one of my guys right there, man. Him, Stojakovic. We going with the foreign players for days, bro.
Man, what really pissed me off though, man, was I was talking. We had a conversation in the lunchroom, man, like we was in the hood, and I brought a name up, man, because they were just bringing up the regular names that we all know.
Right.
Who didn't get his props, man, because of a lot of the injuries. I was like, man, because they were talking about Pippen and how if Pippen went to another team like the Sonics with all the guys assembled like Kemp and Detlef Schrempf and Peyton, I said, that's cheating. And he was like, you think he could have won the championship? I said, of course. But then I was telling them, like, well, let's give players credit where credit due. Since y'all was throwing out all the original names, I just threw in one of my boys. And I felt like my man's Tom Gugliotta didn't get his flowers, man.
True. Okay, so Bonus Senior was a beast. Because keep in mind, and many of the players back then, I'm talking about the legit players, the Michael Jordan, the Magic Johnsons and things of the world, when asked who was the best player you saw in that time, sometimes they would say Mike, but other times they mentioned Sabonis a lot. Before the injury started to catch up with him, they were saying he was the best player out here, period. Much like Bob Lanier. Remember, if you listen to that piece earlier, they were saying that most of Bob Lanier's career, he was hurt. Some of the same injuries that Mr. Oden had. Y'all remember Oden? Y'all remember that draft? It was Oden, then it was, of course, KD. Oden, he just couldn't get past them. But basically, Lanier, he played through them same injuries, okay? And not only did he play through them, he played at an all-star level. He became one of the best big men of all time. Sometimes I question the heart of some of these players.
I don't know who I was more disappointed with, man. Greg Oden or Shamaki Walker, but at least Shamaki had a few years in the league. Yeah, I knew that was gonna make you laugh.
Man, let's just get back to some of them good old names back in the day. That do some research, y'all. Look up people like Yinka Dare, Michael Olowokandi, God Shamgar. Some of them folks.
Name the Spanish kid the Lopez. What was his first name? He was a beast too. He came from St. John's.
Absolutely, Pride. That Portland team is still my favorite to play on video games. Yep.
Oh man, that
team? Plastic Man, Bonzi Wells, Deadlift and Company. Exactly. That was an awesome squad.
That was my guy. That whole LA Clippers squad I loved, man, with Olden.
That was a good squad, but a lot of them was past their prime.
Richardson, dude.
Olden Polonese, Dominique Wilkins. People like that.
Man, old school Dominique Wilson before he had the high top was probably one of the most exciting ones to watch.
No doubt. I'm talking about San Antonio Spurs, LA Clippers, Dominique Wilkins, okay? But yeah, it ain't nothing like some of that old school. I say at some point when we have one of those weeks where we ain't got much to talk about, we'll go ahead and invest some time in going old school. We'll do that for y'all.
That, man, because
we can go on for hours with that for real. Especially with us three in the room. Between me, you, and Brad, we'll go back and forth all day.
We are showing our age tonight.
You should remain the show, grumpy old man, yo. Well played, Pride. Well played. So yeah, I guess that's what we'll do. Sometime this summer, when it's kind of a lull, we'll have the grumpy old men edition. How about that?
Yeah, hit some old school stuff because I definitely want to talk about your boy Charles Barkley, but we're gonna leave that for when we make that edition.
And if you don't mind, I say we invite Pride to come on that show. We all sit down and talk about it.
I definitely would like that because he be the man one taking jabs at these super teams. But come on, man, we know better than that, man, and we'll just leave it at that right now.
Right. That being said, Pride, since I got you in the room, I have Hugh go to the next topic. But yeah, you checked out that new Method Man I sent you, Pride. What did you think, bro? I sent you that too, didn't I, Hugh?
Yeah, man, that was fire, man. I enjoyed it. Thanks for that, man.
Track 3, y'all. The new Method Man, Meth Lab 3, track 3. You think?
Yeah, man. I want to talk about this last topic too. This going to probably take us to the end right here. And I'm glad you're listening too. With the Joel Embiid injury, man, as he re-injured himself recently, man, do you think that might spell the end for the Philadelphia 76ers? Because when he got hurt, they got blew out really bad, man. And right now, I have to give my man his flowers, man, because I used to always, not really give too much credit to Bam Adebayo, man. But I think that dude been doing the damn thing in the series, man. And even when the other guys are not really stepping up, Bam has been pretty consistent, man. Him and my man's Jimmy Buckets.
I will check it out later, I promise. I had the first 2 Meth Labs and dug them. Did you notice he doesn't curse anymore? Yes, I did notice that. He talks about that in a couple podcasts, in fact. Probably not because he's so gifted of an MC that he doesn't. He never had to, sir. He's one of the best to ever do it. Yeah, we know that's coming. We knew this was coming. Okay. Pride, you may not agree with this. Hugh, you may not agree with this. But since we're talking all things Philly, first of all, I'm sorry, y'all, but I agree with the league. I agree. that the Joker should have won MVP this year. Hear me out. You take Embiid off of Philadelphia, they might make it to the playoff round. Okay, the play-in game without him, considering they still have people like Tobias Harris and Maxey played well this year. Remember when they had Steph Curry, they had Drummond. Of course, they wouldn't have traded them if Joel was out for the season, obviously. There's that. We already know about Giannis. Giannis kind of get played because Giannis is Giannis. And on a good night, ain't nobody stopping him offensively or defensively. So I could almost argue it could have been him instead. But I got to give it to the Joker because if you take Joker off of that Denver squad, what did they have? I'll wait. They had Murray out for the season. They had Porter, who played about 15 games, then out for the season. They had Aaron Gordon, missing poster most of the season.
Yep.
And after that, they got. And the most compelling argument I'm going to throw out there is for the first time ever in all the 70-plus years of the NBA, one man got 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and over 500 assists in a season. Michael Jordan never did it. Kareem never did it. The late, great Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson never did it. Only one person has done that in the season. His name is the Joker. Your thoughts?
The Joker still was a joke, man. I think they should have got swept that first series, man. But, they pulled off a game. It is what it is. But, yeah, man.
Why did they win that game, Hugh? Why did they win that game? Because the Joker went off that game, did he not?
Yeah, he went off that one game.
Because without him, they would have got swept. No doubt.
But yeah, all honesty, all jokes.
Without Embiid, I understand what you about to say, Brad. Without Embiid, yeah, we're not even talking about that. Miami already waiting on the next.
Incredible season, though, man. He basically wanted it, man, and I thought that he deserved it, man. But it's like, okay, if they gave it to Jokic, okay, big ups to him, man. But Embiid lost the weight, got in shape. His game was already there, man. But just the way the reason why I think he should have won MVP, and I know Pride gonna chime in on this, is at first when Ben was playing all them silly games at first, man, like he was a child, and Embiid stepped in, and because they didn't have a winning record at the time, their record was trash. I said, man, what's up with Philly, man? They don't look like the same team. Maybe they do need Ben. Maybe they hurting without this guy. And I was like, man, I don't know, man. They might not be able to do it without Ben. And that's what I thought Ben was trying to prove that person. But when Embiid got into his own, man, and he basically carried the team, he carried the whole weight of the team, even before James Harden, man. He carried that team into a 500 record, damn near had one of the better records in the league. I thought they were going to be number 2 at first, number 2 seed, but that didn't fall through. But, yeah, just the way he handled that situation when my man said the Kangaroo Kid, Ben Simmons, when he was out and how bad they were playing at first, he put that team, the whole franchise, all of Philly on his back, even the damn Rocky statue. So, yeah, I definitely felt like that was something that he definitely deserved, and a lot of people felt like he was robbed from that too. Like you said, not taking nothing away from the Joker, but man, it was like, yeah, that's what I looked at. I looked at from how bad the team was playing and how great they played at the end, going to the finish line, and they actually not playing so shabby in the playoffs. And him, if he's hurt and can't play the next game, it's definitely over. So yeah, but like you said, that team over there in Denver wouldn't look so great neither without the Joker. They might not even make the playoffs.
I got to give the NBA credit as well for the most part. When it comes to picking their end-of-year people, whoever they have doing the picking, they for the most part get it right. Now, of course, I'm still highly upset by the fact that not only did Jordan Poole did not win the most improved player, but was not even considered for the final 3. clearly he's showing you that he has that game. But all that being said, I gotta hear what Pride gonna say, and then let me go on say my little 2 cents. I hate to admit it, but I don't have a problem with Joker getting it, says Pride. He actually upped the ante on his stats slightly, and then the milestone that he mentioned is pretty incredible. Also, Embiid didn't pad his stats any as Doc limited his minutes for the playoffs, which he should have, which showed just how effective Embiid was. But I have to give it to the Joker. Lord forgive me for I have sinned. And that's the gospel according to Pride. Pun intended.
I ain't gonna get that food with props. But no, Joker's the better big man.
I give you credit, my brother. I give you credit.
And we even got to go back to the history of the Joker before he was the Joker. When he was a joke, that dude, like how many pounds? Like 50 pounds. And at first, when he was in Portland, they didn't think he was gonna basically pan out, man, and he didn't pan out. He basically put more pride, and he basically said, listen, I need to lose weight, and I need to get myself together to be a better player, and he worked on all that. He
remember, once upon a time, Portland had 2 big men, Nurkic and the Joker. And in the end, they felt they kept the better of the 2 by keeping Nurkic and trading the Joker. That put that chip on that dude's shoulder.
Absolutely.
And since then, he been saying, you know what, I'm going to show y'all. And I got to shout out Embiid because this season, he did the same. He set out to show, look, I know all these years I've been out hurt and had all these injuries. People question my heart, my commitment. So I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to change my weight gain and loss. I'm going to get in very good shape. I'm going to make it through damn near the whole season, injury-free. Then, of course, what happened to him in the playoffs, unfortunately, happened. And then we all know he also has the bad thumb as well. Don't forget that part. I think that's affecting his game more so than anything right now. But all that being said, they still may mess around and win this darn thing, okay? Even with him not being 100%. So get Embiid his props. But forgive me, y'all, but I promise you, I had a dream the other night. And the new season came, and Ben Simmons got off the bench, and he showed up and he showed out. I swear to God, I want that to happen. I'm talking about he got in the game, he started hitting jumpers, he started showing up, man, if that ever happened, please give him his props. That being said, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd be so proud of him if after he get back from this injury, because keep in mind, we was all clowning him, but apparently this injury was bad enough to where he actually had to have surgery. So it must not have been a complete joke. Understand, I'm still waiting for Antonio Brown to have his ankle surgery that was so bad to where he had to go on leave. You know that surgery ain't never happened, y'all, right? For the record.
I do the
But anyway, yeah, Embiid definitely had a good season. I definitely want to give him his props for that. He showed up and showed out. I hope he still got a little bit left in the tank to at least push it to a game 7. Bottom line is in that next round, if they make it, and it's either Boston or Milwaukee, it's a wrap. Can I ask why the Smurf was Embiid in that game where they were up 29 points with just under 5 minutes left in the 4th period? That big-eared Garden Dome, Doc Rivers needs to be held accountable. Trust and believe. If they don't win this series, he's fired. As much as I hate that, because I do like Doc Rivers, actually. But him,
man, it just seemed like he's not good at making adjustments. And I remember before when my man's made that comment, Big Baby, Glenn Davis, they were asking, do you think that Doc was the reason behind y'all winning that championship? And he said, absolutely not. The players in play. And we make the adjustments because Doc, that's one thing, his weakness. When you're down or when you're not in good shape or when you're in a situation where you need him to make adjustments, he cannot make adjustments. And we've seen that when he was with the Clippers. And he made those issues well known again in this series. Like you said, man, that would be nice to see them move on to the next round. But if he don't get that together, man, he's going to be gone. And it's like you can't blame him because they gave him time after time and many chances to fix his wrongs. But it's up to him now.
I mean, bottom line, you seen the type of talent he had with those Clipper squad. The fact that they got no further than they did, I feel bad about that. But when all is said and done, before he was doing all this, he was an analyst and a pretty good one. I wouldn't mind him basically being in the booth after all this is said and done and going back to doing that. He was good at it.
Man, right now I'm looking at that game, man. It's tied with 37 seconds left, man. If the Celtics let this game slip away, man, they might as well go ahead and go fishing, because if they lose this game at home, I definitely believe it ain't no chance that they'll be able to pull it off when they go back to Milwaukee.
Absolutely. And that being said, we're going to let y'all go to watching the rest of the game, too. So let's go and wrap it up, Hugh. You know what to do.
Y'all already know what time it is, man. Appreciate you, Pride and E, when y'all, come and chime in on the Purity of the Game blog, man. Whenever y'all want, man, just chime in, get with me, man. Most times I'm going to put whatever information of what's going on, of what's important. Most times if it's like some groundbreaking news, I'm usually on it. So, yeah, just go to that website, Purity of the Game, show me some love, and leave a comment for your boy. Appreciate y'all in advance.
About, yeah, he knows his X's and O's, but that raspy voice is annoying as his big ass ears. And ain't nothing funnier than when Jamie Foxx does his his Doc Rivers impersonation. Oh, that is hilarious. Check it out on YouTube, y'all. It's very funny. But anyway, yeah, absolutely. Please check out my man Pure to the Game, and also check out the new sports podcast that we got going here tonight on Network, Big Buck Sports Report, where we definitely go on the weekend and wrap up what went on in the week. So anything we didn't get to now, we'll get to later, or we'll talk about some things that we don't quite have the time to talk about here on the show. We definitely will look into some of the little in-betweens of sports that we don't always get to either. This week on Big Buck Sports Report, I'm going to break down the whole NIL situation with the likenesses and images. It is basically revolutionizing college as we know it. And I really need to get to that before that. We need Avery Johnson on commentary as well. Absolutely. He was also a good
boy.
I agree. But that
transaction defense. That dude was so country.
That being said, we about to head on out. Thank you always, Hugh, for a great show. Appreciate you, bro. I do. Thank you to the audience for coming on through. I know you'll probably check this out later on, Miss Pat, but let us tell you on behalf of the Nighthawk Network, happy belated birthday. We love you, Miss Pat. You know we do.
Happy birthday, Miss Pat. Man, we love all of y'all from the network, man. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate all the shows and the love and support that y'all give to us. And we like to give it right back. Thanks once again, man, for chiming in, especially my boy Pride. Didn't see Roll tonight, but I know Roll will probably give us a shout out. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody who chime in, and we would like to do the same. And hopefully we'll hear from y'all next week, God's will.
Right, and I also want to give another special shout out before we head out to my man's Antonio Tillman, brother Tony. I know you've been kind of healing up from some things that went on. If you go on the air and talk about it, you do. If you don't, cool. But we're glad you are improving, and hopefully you'll be back recording your sessions on the air soon.
Amen.
Look forward to hearing from you. Hit me up when you get them in. That being said, we about to head up out of here, y'all. Hold on, one last thing. Oh, yeah, went to the doctor today, and my blood pressure is damn near perfect. And on my way back to work soon. And then I can kick it with Sensei about the show. All right, cool. Glad to hear that, Brad.
Look forward to that.
And we're not only going to kick it about the show thing. We got to get to a couple shows, bro. It's time for us to all hook up and get to some of these games, man.
Yeah, but P, you already know, man. If you need a host, man, you can get me or E whenever, man. So yeah, man, we reaching out to you right now to let you know. You know what? Got to worry about host. We'll definitely be there for you whenever you need us. So yeah, just
that being said, based on your commentary here, bro, I know you could do it by yourself if you chose to. You truly could. But that's another subject for another day. Like I said, we out of here, y'all. Please be safe. I don't care what they saying. It's still like that out here. You see that there?
Ooh, might be going fishing.
Put it on. Uh-oh. All right, y'all. Let's go check it out. And you know what to do, Hugh. Hold on. Hold the pose. You know I got to find a little hookup. All right, here we go. Deuces. Gametime Audible is a Nighthawk network.